Hello and welcome to the live stream that we're doing today. We have our Excel trading model. We're going to be demonstrating it live in the markets this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. We have got an Excel trading model, and you can see that in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. It will be taking trades in the Euro US dollar, and you can see the chart of that in the top left-hand side of the screen, corner of the screen. With me this morning to talk about the model, to talk about the markets, and to talk about the new demo version, which is now available in particular, is Ren Vallow. How are you today, Ren?
Yeah, good morning, Mark. Doing well.
Excellent.
Oh, happy to
So
be
we,
here.
we released the most exciting thing for us and people, I hope, who are watching this, is we have a new demo version available, and it is available
Yep.
as a free download. Anybody can get it, anyone can test and do what we are doing today. So we released that last Friday. We're on Tuesday today. What were the changes that we introduced last week, Ren? Can you refresh my mind?
So we've done a lot of changes in the last couple of weeks, but the new one we've released, it does everything that you're going to see today on our live stream. So you can trade long, you can trade short. It'll trade on the 5 minute time frame or 5 second time frame, and you'll see the trades happening, and it connects to MetaTrader. And the only thing you really have to install is you have to have a Microsoft Excel on your
Mm-hmm.
computer. You have to have the MetaTrader 5, and you can download that from the MetaTrader 5 website. And then the interface file that we've created for you. So when you run that, it'll connect your Excel to the MetaTrader, and all the data will just start flowing. And you'll be able to demo exactly what you're going to see here today at home.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what you will find as soon as you, we'll go through some of the settings in a bit, what you'll see, what Ren was just describing, is you'll see data. First of all, you see data flowing in on a regular basis. So it's set up on the 5 second time frame. Am I right, Ren?
Yep. 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Yep.
which is exactly the time frame that we're demonstrating here. The demo version, you can't change the time frame, so you will be taking trades as quickly as we're showing here. So we have got every 5 second period, there'll be more data flowing into the model. And you can see this is, I'm looking at the bottom left hand corner of the screen. You can see trades are being taken here. So we've
Yep.
just taken a long trade. And if I scroll over here again on the Excel, you can see we're not actually in a trade at the moment. So we've just closed up a long trade, and it will be looking for long and short trading opportunities. Every time the numbers change here, you can see we get another bar of data. So one thing that you can do in the model, and I would encourage you to do, is you can change the market. So this corresponds, if you've got a MetaTrader 5 account set up, a demo account set up, which I hope you have, you can look at the symbol, the market symbol, and you can get that from the what they call the market watch over here on the left hand side, and you can get the symbol. So in my broker calls it EuroUSD.P. So all I need to do is enter that exact code, so EuroUSD.P, and it will pull through that data.
Yeah, so here in the United States, the default for MetaTrader is just Euro USD without the P after it. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think most brokers would have that, but this particular one seems to have a slightly different symbol, the .p. But I think you're right. Most brokers would just have the Euro USD. Ben is here today. Hi, Ren. Ren.
Right.
Hi, Ben. How are
Hey,
you
Ben.
today, Ben? Good to see you here. So you could use any of the Forex markets. You can use all sorts of other symbols. There's loads of stuff available. Just the thing that I can see here, the symbols that I've got showing, a range of different Forex markets. I've got futures data. Now these are CFDs based on the futures market. So I've got Dow futures, NASDAQ, S&P, UK index, UK FTSE 100, German DAX. We've got gold, we've got silver, we've got crude, we've got Brent crude oil, we've got natty gas, and we've got some stocks as well, Amazon, Netflix, Alphabet. So any one of these symbols you can use with this model. So if you're looking at the top left hand corner of the screen again, I can flick this onto Amazon. It won't affect what I'm doing in my model.
Yep.
Because all I'm doing is viewing the data. I can actually open and close trades, so I've got full control of this particular market here. You can see here, have we got some? Yeah, we've got some pre-market action in Amazon here. What else might be interesting? Well, cryptos, of course.
Yep.
No such thing as pre-market with cryptos. 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yep, they just trade all the time.
Yep, and so we've got Bitcoin here on the 1 minute chart showing there. What else we got? We've got Ether. Looks like we've got the SPY, got global uranium as well for some reason. So we've got a huge different range, and these are just the ones that are showing at the moment. So you can use any of those markets. If you're a stock trader, Forex, whatever type of trader you are, you can use those with this model.
Yep. And every broker is going to offer you different types of symbols. So it's just depending on your brokerage for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So shop around. You can. The beauty of MetaTrader 5 is you can set up a free demo version. Some of them are time limited. Some of them aren't even time limited. So you can test away. Even if your broker offers a time limited one, it is very likely they will allow you to set up another one that may last for another 2, 3, 4 weeks. So very, very easy to test on this platform.
Yes, and here in the US, when you download MetaTrader, you can download the Euro USD and the S&P 500 futures without any time limits. Pretty much just runs indefinitely. So you can test, and as far as trading goes, they let you do demo trading on the Euro USD unlimited without any brokerage firm at all. So you can just run it. You don't even have to sign up for a brokerage.
Yeah, fantastic. So you can get the data absolutely for free. You can simulate trading, once again, absolutely for free. You can use the Excel model to backtest the strategies. And when you're ready, you can click it into gear and you can use it to trade your strategies for you via MetaTrader. In fact, it connects directly to the server via an API, which means it's not going directly through the terminal. Yeah, as you were saying there, Ren, in the US, brokers seem to have a slightly different setup to other jurisdictions, but it works essentially the same way.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, they just give you a free one that you can test with. They'll even let you demo the trading with the Euro USD. They'll record the trades as kind of like a paper trading account, and you can compare it to your Excel model, how well you're doing on your Excel model, and just to get everything set up and test it. It's totally free. And so we just offered this on your website. So we're ready to go. As far as you want to download, you can download this exact version today.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a link below this video if you're watching currently on YouTube, or if you're watching on Catch Up as well. There's a link below this video. All you need to do is just pop your email address in there. We'll keep you updated. We'll let you know how it's going. We're getting very close towards releasing a premium version. So if that's something that interests you, or you just want to see how it works, just test something for free, no risk, no obligation, sign up, get on the list, and you'll be sent a download link with instructions of how to install this. It's very, very simple. There are 2 files. You get the Excel model, and it looks very much like the one that I'm showing on the screen at the moment, and you get a simple program, a simple, what's the word, Ren?
Connection? It's interface.
Interface, yeah, exactly. So to connect the Excel model directly to MetaTrader 5, you run the interface anytime you want to stream data or take trades.
Yeah.
Very simple setup process. We've got a new video which I've recorded based on Ren's very detailed instructions to me, and we've got a new document, an online document to walk you through the steps.
Yep, and there's just one little item on MetaTrader. You have to enable algo trading. They have this little button on there, and you can do it in your preferences too. So to actually implement the interface and let it trade, you can get the data down to your spreadsheet without doing it. But if you want to actually trade, you have to turn the enable algo trading on. That's like the one thing that you have to turn on.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really a safety feature, and it's a good one actually. Um, Appreciate it's fairly small scale, but the top left-hand corner, I'm looking at the MetaTrader 5 terminal, and you can see where my cursor is here, there is a small button which says algo trading. So that can be switched on and off. When that is switched off, that is a master control for your account, and you will not be able to take trades, automatic trades, whether through the terminal or through an interface such as this one. You switch that off, you'll only be able to trade manually. If you keep it switched on like this, you will always be able to take trades, so you have that master switch control. For demo testing purposes, you probably want to switch it on. So that's a very good point there.
Yep. And yeah, it doesn't interact with, like, you can turn it off if you want to, and your data will still come to your spreadsheet. Your spreadsheet will still operate properly, and you'll still see trade indications. They just won't be actually implemented on the trading system. So,
right. Yeah, exactly. So if you just want to watch the markets, you just want to see the spreadsheet do its thing, you can leave algo trading switch off and it will still work. The spreadsheet will show trades, but they will not show up in your account.
yep.
Okay. So Ben's asked a question, do we have any ideas on the premium pricing levels yet? I'm afraid we don't have that information, Ben. Sorry, I do appreciate your patience on this one. We are looking to go live with the premium version in November, so we'll get more information about that available as soon as we can. We talked Ren and I talked briefly just before we came on about, I've had the question about Think or Swim TOS, so I know a lot of people are big fans of this platform, which is owned by TD Ameritrade. It's something we have talked about before. TD Ameritrade is not the easiest API to connect to via this system. MetaTrader 5 is a much, am I right in saying, Ren, it's a much easier interface for us to use.
Yeah, it's heavily supported. So the TD Ameritrade does have they do have an API, but it's not widely supported by them. They kind of like shrug their shoulders when you kind of contact them and ask them for more information about connecting to it. So while it's technically possible, we haven't created a demo for that. So that would be kind of like probably a one-off, like we'd have to create that interface for it. And it is technically possible, but
technically possible. We'd have to make changes to the interface. It may not be able to do all the things that MetaTrader 5 can, but definitely technically possible, and it's one for the future.
Yep.
Okay, so another question I've had, and then I'm going to get back to the model. If you're relatively new to the model, I'm going to get back to that in a moment. Another question I've had, and we talked about again briefly before we started broadcasting today, Ren, is order flow data and options data as well. As far as I know, MetaTrader 5 has the facility to have this data, to stream this data, both order flow, looking at market depth, and options, looking at the pricing of the various different options. In theory, there'll be no reason why we couldn't get that data streamed into this model, is there?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as your brokerage supports the type of data you're trying to integrate, it'll be no problem. Yeah, as long as you have a symbol for MetaTrader for an option, you can put the symbol in, then we can bring it integrated back to the spreadsheet. So yeah, we just have to use the exact same symbol, and then there might be different data. Like if you want to have different types of data coming back, that could be adjusted as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought when somebody asked me this question about order flow data in particular, Excel is the perfect platform to stream this data in. It might not be the easiest to backtest order flow data, but when streaming into to Excel, you can do calculations on the fly. You can have a very good idea of market depth at any time and adjust your trading accordingly.
Well, there you go. There's the opening bell for the U.S. markets. Hopefully today turns out to be like a turnaround Tuesday, because we've had some pretty rough rides here lately.
Yeah. Let's. I'm just going to change the chart here. Let's go and have a look at the NASDAQ. Well, the NASDAQ futures recent move has been to the downside. Let's see what happens. Even though we're not trading it, the market's so interconnected. We can almost guarantee at the moment that if the NASDAQ falls, the Euro USD will also fall, and the dollar
Yep.
will be strengthening. So let's
Yeah,
see.
that's been the pattern of late. We've been seeing
Yeah,
that.
very, very strong pattern of late. So yeah, so Excel would be a great platform for. We'll keep an eye on what the markets are doing, and Excel would be a great platform for analyzing order flow data and potentially options as well. And it depends
Yep.
on the data that your broker provides. So the model here, if you're relatively new to this model, what we've got here is the dashboard where you can control your strategy. You can adjust things like the profit target, and I will zoom in here, bottom left hand corner of the screen. You can see here I've set a profit target multiplier. I'm using a calculation based on the ATR, which is my favorite, particularly for Forex markets, because it adjusts to the ATR always adjusts, whether you're trading on the weekly or the 1 minute, whatever time frame, the ATR will automatically scale and adjust for volatility. So you can adjust profit target just by entering it in the box here, and the results over here, the recent results I should say, and the capital graph that you're looking at will also adjust. So we've got a setup that we've been using for a couple of weeks now. We made an adjustment last week to the strategy. Rem was doing quite a bit of testing on the 1 minute time frame, overnight
Yep.
testing on the 1 minute time frame on what we call strategy 2, which is buying on consecutive higher highs and selling on consecutive lower lows. And it seems to work very nicely with the Forex markets, particularly on these lower time frames.
Yeah, it is, Mark. And I've noticed with this particular strategy, it's a very good trend following strategy. So if you've got a short term trend in place, this particular strategy too works very, very well on the 1 minute time frame.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. We're almost like a broken record about this, but a lot of these markets are very fractal. So what works on these smaller time frames will often work in a similar way on higher time frames. You just need to
Hmm.
adjust, obviously, for position size, profit targets, but often a very similar approach can be effective. One thing you do get on the smaller time frames is very definite trends in both directions, although additionally you get a lot of noise. But it's something you can look at when you're trading this. You can look at it on a demo version. You can sit and watch the strategy, and you don't have to be the person actually opening and closing the trades.
Exactly. Yeah, it relieves you from the stress of having to open and close. And on these
Mm.
shorter term time frames, there's no way you could actually do it. It just
No,
happens too fast.
no, we've found the execution is really, really quick
Hmm.
with the model. The connection to the server, the trade signals happen very, very quickly. There's no way I could trade on this sort of time frame, but the model performs very well. Although when it's live, it's going to be certainly strongly recommended that you're looking at time frames of at least a minute, maybe even a bit higher than that, to get the optimum out of a system like this.
Yeah, yeah, probably more like the 15-minute time frame or 30
Yeah,
minute time frame for like a serious strategy.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got lower transaction costs, you'll be trading less, but you'll still be able to take advantage of things that are happening during the day when you're at work, when you're
Yep.
asleep, when you're, even if you're sitting and watching it, you get the advantage of another person, in fact, a system trading on your behalf, and you control the system rather than actually doing the trading.
Yep, and there are a bunch of fail safes put into the model. There's a self like if something were to go wrong and your connection would drop in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, there is a profit target and a stop loss automatically set on your brokerage when a trade is placed, so
Mhm.
that even if you lost your connection, that would still be implemented for you. And yeah, so there are some fail safes there just in case something would go wrong.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, these are the sorts of things that you've got to be aware of as a trader. You can lose connection at any time. You might be taking a trade, but you really don't want to lose connection when you're trading on these lower time frames. So these things can happen. So a little bit more about this strategy. We have a filter. I'm going to zoom back out so you can see we can all see, because I don't know what it's going to show. You can see what will happen when I attach the filter to the strategy.
Yeah.
So we're taking fewer trades,
Yep.
but I still think it's performing reasonably well. I like this. I like this filter. All the filter is doing is making sure that the higher highs on the higher closes match with higher highs. So you've got a symmetry of that. So you can have just higher closes or higher high with higher closes.
Yeah, it helps reduce your commission costs a little bit on these shorter time frames as well. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's one thing I like to get is going for quality trades. Sometimes you have to take as many trades are available to just keep using the edge to let the probabilities work into your favor. But sometimes you have to take a step back and just say, well, I only want quality trades,
yep.
and it depends on the time frame and the system you're trading as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And on the longer term time frames, it's nice to have really super quality trades, and then you have high win rates, and it works out well.
Yeah, talking about win rates, we've got 51% showing here. We've certainly had higher than that, so we're having slightly more challenging conditions. 51% at the moment. We've been up close to 60% quite frequently, haven't we?
Yeah, I've been seeing like as high as 67%. What
Yeah.
happens when we go back to the filter with the higher highs and see
Oh,
what is
good
our percent
question.
then?
Yeah, let's have a look. Oh, 58%. So,
Yeah.
but a much
Yep.
smaller sample size. So I'm going to scroll in here just so you can see. Apologies if you're watching this on a small screen, but I'll just say what it's showing. We're getting just 12 trades in this sample of the last 1,000 bars of data, and we've moved up to 58% of winning trades. But we've only taken
Yep.
12 trades, so it's a small sample size. On the whole, though, I've found this filter to be effective and at increasing the win rate, increasing the quality of the trades.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as we see the win rate on this particular strategy, when I notice the win rate starts to fall off around 50%, then what I'm kind of assuming at the time is the trend is changing. Just from like playing with this,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
start to
I see
notice.
what you're saying. Yeah, when it's, do you mean moving from a downtrend to an uptrend, and it
Yep.
gets chopped up a bit while the transition is occurring?
Right. So like right now we might be entering like a mini downtrend. So if we switch the strategy around to follow the downtrend, our win rate goes back up in the 60s again.
Mm.
That's kind of how I've been just using it overnight and
Mm-hmm.
observing it every day. This
Yeah.
this particular strategy really gives you an idea of what the trend is.
Mm. Yeah, okay. Question from Gerald DeWitt. How do you change the time frame on the Excel file? Well, Gerald, that's a really good question. In the full version, you will be able to do it straight from the Excel file, and as easy as that. You can set it in seconds or minutes. The demo version,
Yep.
we fixed it to 5 seconds, so you'll be getting the same experience as we're showing on this live stream here. The reason we've done that is because everybody's busy for a start, and you want to see things happening quickly. This is not the time frame. 5 seconds is not the time frame that we expect people to trade live with this system, but it's a way of seeing how it works, watching the market, seeing how the data's flowing in. So the simple answer is, for the demo version, you can't change the time frame, but for the full premium version, you can set the time frame to whatever you want.
Yep.
You can
Inside
set it on
this.
the daily, you can set it on the weekly time frame. We've talked about this before. You don't, if you're using it on the daily time frame, as far as I can see things, you don't need to have it for the full day. You only need to have it on at the time you wish to trade, and the
Yep.
data, when it's updated, so you've got a new daily bar, or whenever you decide is the closing bar for that, for whatever suits you, you can switch it on. It might take a trade, it might not take a trade, it might exit a trade, and then you can switch it off again. Do you see a
Yep.
problem with it working like that, Ren?
Not at all. Yeah, that would work. That would work perfectly well. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
So
just run
you
it.
can, even if you're a daily time frame trader, you don't need to have it on all the time. You can just have it on when it's doing something for you. If you want it to be in there, like we're showing now, in and out of the markets, then you will want it on. But it's highly flexible. I've tried it. I've had it running earlier today. I switched my computer down when I went out for a while, switched it back on.
Yep.
The interface was still, it wasn't running when my computer was off, but it picked up immediately and reanalyzed the bar.
Yeah, it should pick up right where you left off. Like you start her back up, and if you're doing the daily time frame, you could just say, "Hey, I'm going to run this, every morning at the open, and just let it do its thing, get the
Yeah.
data in, or every day at the end of the day, whatever you want to do." But of course, you could leave it just running in the background on a computer or on a virtual private server indefinitely too. Either way would work fine.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Ben, have either of you run this file in live for actual money other than in demo mode? Ben?
So I did set it up with my broker and just to see if it would execute the trades, and yes, it did. But I haven't run any of our strategies yet. We're just doing these strategies as demonstrations. We do have some strategies that I think that would be worthy of running for real. But right now, with the markets being a little bit volatile, we haven't done that. So
Yeah. So simple answer, yes. There's absolutely no reason why this can't run. It can't run today on a live trading model, but we
yes.
wouldn't recommend it. We're still at the demo version. We've tested it ourselves, or Ren has tested it himself to make sure it's working as expected. And when the premium version is available, you'll be able to run it on demo and live markets safely.
Yeah. Yeah, and right now the volatility, like I like to trade the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, and the volatility is pretty extreme. And right now my portfolio is not looking too pretty, so
Yeah.
I haven't been running any automated strategies. But yeah, that is definitely feasible. It does work, and this interface does connect and trade,
Yeah.
so it works.
I mean, you raise a point there that if you're trading a system like this, you're using the Excel model to execute your trades for you based on a strategy that you have decided and you want to use. You're the person that can decide whether to switch it on or switch it on, like Ren was saying there. We've had high volatility, we've had wild swings. If it's not a morning that you want to be trading, then you do not need to switch this on. Or you could switch it on but not execute the trades. Like we were saying before, leave MetaTrader 5 in without the what do they call it? The algo trading mode. So you don't actually execute any trades. You can just open it on your demo account if the volatility is right, if you don't feel right in trading. Equally, you can say, I only want to take long trades this morning because that's the way the markets are going. You can do that. Likewise, you can take short trades as well.
Yeah, I would say kind of like a pilot. You have autopilot on your airplane, but if you're flying into a hurricane, you probably just don't want to be flying that day.
Yeah.
And we're kind of flying into a hurricane right now, so we're not currently doing any automated trading. We're just sitting back and waiting for the weather to clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
autopilot. My analogy that I've used before is you're the coach. You're letting your team play. You're telling the team what you want them to do, but you're letting the team do the playing.
Yep.
Okay, thanks for the question, Ben. Right, so what else have we got today? I was going to talk about seasonals. So I recorded a video promoting my own video. Yesterday, I think I put it live. And
that was a good video.
Thank you, Ron. And what I was looking at was the seasonal trends for equities. I haven't actually looked at the seasonal trends for Forex. I don't know how strong they will be, but maybe that's something it'd be pretty easy to do. So maybe that's something I'll look at, see if we get any strong trends there. But what I did look at was the seasonal trend for equities, because fourth quarter, which we are now in, has the strongest directional trend of any of the quarters, and that strong trend is particularly pronounced towards the end of October. We may have more selling, we may have more chop between now and then, but those strong trends in a seasonal basis are due to start third week in October. So that may well be a time, if we see what the market is actually doing start to match with the seasonal patterns for long trading, particularly in equities. But maybe that's something I could have a look at on Forex. Do you have any thoughts about whether we will have strong seasonal trends in some of these Forex pairs, Ren?
I would think it would be somewhat similar because the way the markets are so correlated,
Mm.
especially in the last couple of years. I don't know in the past because you go back about 20 years, I think, on that one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be interesting to see for sure. But I think for the last couple of years, I would say the last 10 years, probably the correlation would probably show up there.
Yeah. So yeah, that might be one to have a look at. The other seasonal trend that we have talked about a number of times on this particular live stream, and that's the reason why we like to have it this Tuesday morning, is there is a weekly seasonality to the markets as well.
Yeah.
And the weekly, particularly again in the stock market, equities market, tends to pick up on the Tuesday. So
Yeah.
Fridays, people seem to want to square off their portfolios. Mondays, there can be a bit of a hangover from the weekend. But Tuesdays, particularly if we've had some selling on the Friday, which we did, is often the
Mhm.
time when we can expect the turnaround. Now, it is certainly
Yeah.
not a
So
perfect pattern, but it has held true for a number of years and it's quite strongly pronounced. So that's why we like to trade this Tuesday morning. It'll be interesting to see if we have any, if that is reflected.
yeah, today's
Not at
been
the
a
moment.
bit weak, but yeah, this is typical for us. Is our strong weekly pattern is Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. So at the moment, it's not panning out. So can't expect any seasonal pattern to work all the time. In fact, at the moment, the Nasdaq is right on the lows, the recent lows that we've seen, the lows of a few days ago, last week, and yeah, that is looking pretty negative at the moment. That is the Nasdaq. The chart at the top left-hand corner is the Nasdaq 100 on the
Yep.
daily time frame.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. But even with the volatility and all these strategies seem to play out better than I would have expected. I've been
Mm,
very, very cautious the last month or two,
yeah.
and I'm kind of surprised every time we do our run and we see how it's performing. It outperforms what I would think it would do. So
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it's doing well. So going back to the, we're still on 50%. So now I'm
yeah,
looking at the Excel model, just scrolling in on the chart here. We're on 50, just moved up to 52% winning trades. That percentage of winning trades will, of course, change throughout the session. But the linear regression line, the straight line that you can see there, is pointing upwards. And if I scroll down to the underlying, you can see that it's quite a pronounced downtrend.
yeah,
But
yeah. I'm
we
surprised that
didn't
it's
know that that was going to be the case before the
right.
market opened today. So we're prepared for both eventualities. We're taking this strategy, I should say, is taking long and short trades. And the couple of things, the profit factor is pretty good, pretty healthy. The average winning trade is larger than the average losing trade by, well, yeah, it's about 50% higher. So that's pretty good. And that's what is causing the equity curve, the capital graph here, to point upwards.
Right. And another thing, Mark, I was going to suggest is for people who have a trading strategy that they want to implement. We're not really suggesting that this will be your strategy that you would test.
No.
We're just demonstrating these are strategies you can do. But we're hoping that you come to the table with your own strategy, that you have an idea, whatever it is, if it's stochastics, RSI, or
Mm,
MACD, whatever strategy you have, then you implement that into the model, and that's something we can also help out with,
mm.
so that you could pick almost any strategy, add any type of indicator you wanted to it, and then implement it. So we're not really touting our strategies as the way to make money. We're just saying that this is the automation is a way to help, like, kind of have an assistant with your trading.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that's a really good point um, that you were making there, and that what we're touting, if we're touting anything, is the is following the process. It's due diligence. It's using back testing to identify a strategy that you like, and then using that exact strategy implemented exactly on the markets that you want to trade. So that's what we're suggesting. Do your research, do your testing, and then cautiously and safely implement it. Excuse me, in a trading environment, a live trading environment.
Yep.
It's the
And
opposite, as you've said as well, Ren. It's the opposite of the black box type system. I've explained exactly how the system that we're demonstrating here works, but I'm not saying that that's a system that people should use. We're just saying it demonstrates nicely. We've been pleasantly surprised by the results it's been getting, but that's as far as it goes.
yeah,
If you have an
exactly. So
idea, anybody watching this, both live, on record, it's your ideas that are the most important.
yep, it's your strategy and your risk management that's being implemented.
Yeah.
So in my personal days of trading, I know when I have a strategy I think is going to work really well, and then I get emotional about my trading, so I might change and be like, okay, well this is going to come back, so I'm not going to respect my stop loss. I'm going to let it go a little bit further, and then the market goes down even more,
Yeah.
or I get a little greedy and I don't follow my profit targets. So what this does for you is it implements exactly what your strategy should be. Like if you've done your back testing, which we have, Mark offers a ton of back testing sheet examples. Then you say, okay, this is what I really want to implement. This sheet will implement that strategy for you. So you can actually hope to achieve exactly what you're seeing in your back tests.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it should match. Obviously, there's always the danger of who knows what the future is going to bring. However, if you're going to follow any type of system, you want a system that's worked in the past rather than one that's been suggested on Reddit or you've just read about in a book. You want to use something that you like the feel of, you like the idea of, and then you've done the work, you've done the back testing, and you can use that exact back tested system automated for you in Excel.
Yep, and like the sheet can do the back testing and the forward testing all at once, so
Yeah,
you can match.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, thanks for raising that point, Ren. That's an excellent point. So, if you've joined us late, this demo version, it is a limited demo version because, as Charles asked earlier, there is only one time frame available in the demo. But that's really the big limitation. You can trade whatever market you want. If you want to trade stocks, equities, Forex, anything that is available in MetaTrader 5 in the version that you've got downloaded, you can trade that. All you need to do is adjust this cell here. I've got Euro USD in here. We've worked very nicely on cable, GBP USD as well. Put stocks in there, put indices, put futures, whatever you want. And then you can just run it and see how it goes.
Yep. Yeah, and you can test it out in the 5 second time frame. And like you were saying, it's fractal. So if you find something that works really well on a short-term time frame, it's worth testing it out on the longer-term time frames that you actually want to trade.
Yeah.
It's kind of a quick way to back test. You get 1,000 rows of data at the 5 second, and if it looks really promising, then it's probably worth it to get a couple thousand rows or 10,000 rows at a longer time frame.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this demo version is available. The only limitation is it works on a short time frame, but I think that will help you because things will happen quickly. You'll see exactly the experience that we're looking at today, that I'm looking at on my screen at the moment, and you can test your time frame. You can test not your time frame. You can test your market within your time zone, is what I meant to say, and just see how things work. Try the different strategies, adjust the adjustable variables. I can go from 3 to 4 here. Now,
and Mark, you can demonstrate on the actual MetaTrader. You can see where the trades took place as well, so you can compare them.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to the market that I'm actually trading. You can see here on the daily time frames. Put it on the minute time frame. Every one of these little arrows is a trade that was taken by the system. You can see here,
which is
displaying, you've got a visual representation of every trade you were taken. Current trades that are open, you will have displayed in your terminal. There is a sell trade, a short trade, currently open here. You can see that in the bar at the bottom here of the terminal. And it is opening and closing trades, and you can visually see the trades in real time in your terminal. Okay, I think, Cheryl, how would you make a new strategy, not just these two?
Good.
I think Ren said it. Cheryl, there's loads of resources on Trading Forms, my website. all sorts of different trading strategies, guide as to how to. The thing that you need to have an understanding for is the logic of how, if you understand how your strategy works, whether you buy when the stochastic turns up or when you buy on 3 consecutive higher closing bars, whatever, if you understand your system in those terms, then you can program it into Excel. What you need to do is just go here onto the backtest tab and adjust this column here. I'm not going to go into it in depth now, but there is lots of resources on Trade Informed. All these sheets, nothing is locked. It's the opposite of a black box system. You can make any adjustments that you want to see, and you can change all these strategies, introduce new ones, and you have full flexibility to do that.
Yeah, and Mark, you might want to mention also, if you're looking at the resources on Trade Informed, you can pretty much, if there's RSI, for example, you can just cut and paste it from one of the other sheets right into this sheet. Correct. So it's like you don't really have to understand how to calculate RSI. If you did understand, or you look up there's many resources on the web too on how to calculate RSI, you could just program it into Excel, but you can also just cut and paste.
Yeah, it's really as simple as that. Yeah, there's all sorts of technical indicators, strategy ideas. If you've got your own ideas, more the better. If you need a bit of support with something like that, then we can help you with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can code pretty much anything.
Yeah, exactly. So, Charles, thanks for the question. Ben, thank you very much for all your questions.
Yes,
thank you everyone for being here on the live stream. Any final questions, pop them in the chat box. Otherwise, Ren, do you have any final thoughts for today?
No, just really.
Sorry to interrupt you. 67% winning trades.
Oh, there you go.
I see why. Sorry, I've been just blurting out here. Right, that's because I went from 3 to 4 consecutive higher close. That's why we've got the higher win rate.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to put it back to 3. 51%. This is what we've been looking at all day. Sorry, Rem.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I was just saying that, we're excited to offer the new demo version for everybody. You can test it out to your heart's content. Give us feedback. We can adjust things for you. If you wanted to look at something different, we can put it in there. Sky's the limit with it. When you're working with Excel, it's the opposite of a black box. Whatever you can imagine, you can see in there, and you can see all the columns and rows of the data. So there's no question of what's happening.
Exactly.
Oh, and I hope the seasonality does play out, because the markets have been really rough lately.
They have been really rough, and they're continuing to be rough this morning, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Turnaround Tuesday didn't turn around for us just yet.
Not yet.
So.
Okay. Right. Well, thank you, everybody that's watched the live stream. We've really enjoyed doing it, as usual. Thank you very much for Ren for being here.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah.
And
have a great day.
Yeah, everybody have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will be doing another live stream soon. We'll have new announcements soon. If you haven't got on the list to find out what's going on, there's a link below this video.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for hosting, Mark. Yep.
Yeah, and we're going to finish it now. So thank you, everybody. Ben, thank you very much. Really appreciate you being along. Thank you for your comments. Really appreciate. Thank you. And Cheryl as well. Thank you very much. Look forward to speaking to all of you soon.